TNA. I just redid this because I forgot I said Impact Wrestling. Old habits die hard. But I got a question for you before we get to this show. What are you interested in? We are going to have this weekend 3 shows. Well, actually, technically, we're going to have 4. We're going to have Great American Bash. We're going to have Saturday Night's Main Event. We're going to have Evolution. And we're going to have All In. 4 shows. 3 of them from one company. 1 of them from the other company. But let me ask you this. Which show really interests you in the next week? Is it the Great American Bash? Is it Saturday Night's Main Event? Is it Evolution? Is it All In? Or is it Slammiversary? Now, mind you, I've never hidden anything about what I've done on this channel. I love wrestling. But one of the first shows I ever reviewed, if you literally go on YouTube, click the oldest videos other than just certain things I spoke about, the very first shows that I talked about was WWE, but also, if I remember, TNA. Those were the very first ones. One was WWE, another one was TNA. One of the first videos I produced, I believe, was Hardcore Justice. I could be wrong. It's been a while. It's been, oh my gosh, right now today is what? Oh, today is the 9th, about to become, no, the 11th. Dude, it's been literally 13 years soon that I had started the show. Now, I may actually do a Gump Goodness on this very same thing. I might actually do it. But I've done TNA, I think, longer than anyone has done in a long time. Let's make this very clear. There's been people over the years who have done TNA, then Impact Wrestling, back to TNA. I might be one of the few who's been the most generally consistent. Yeah, I missed several episodes of it, or maybe I missed a pay-per-view or Impact Plus show because either I just couldn't see it because I didn't have the money, or I got sick, or I had something to do. But you could check all the videos I've done. I don't put them in playlists. I have done possibly more TNA videos than anyone other than the big podcasters. Legitimately. And I'm not even saying I'm the biggest one there. I'm not the biggest podcaster. I'm not making no damn money off this stuff. I'm not. I'm doing this because I love wrestling. I do. I may not get it always right. I can get the names wrong. I can get the matches wrong. But if you know me all these years, I'm genuine. I'm a fan who gives his opinion. It may not always be right, but it is what it is. And I ask you again, what do you care about? I don't have to wait until the end of this review to do it. What are you thinking about within 1 week, counting this weekend into the next week? Are you going to think about All In? Are you going to think about the Great American Bash, Evolution, and Saturday Night's Main Event? Or are you going to think about Slammiversary? Legitimately. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to care about, Great American Bash is not going to be that bad. When it comes to Evolution, I just don't know. All In, I'm curious, of course. But also, let's make it clear, Slammiversary has been built better than what we've been getting from WWE and AEW. It's been better. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's been better. Now, let's get to this show. I'm going to tell you this. A lot of setup has been done here, more than normal. More than what we normally would get from TNA of old, and more Impact Wrestling of old, which is a good thing. And I want to make this clear. And I say this again, with respect, I critique the damn product because I've been doing it long enough that I know how they do things. How they hopefully will do something that will please the fans and at least give them money to keep going. And I will say this, and I know I can say it again, I don't need to. We're getting a better product than we normally would get. Does it mean that I should ignore where there's been problems? No. I'm going to keep bringing up everything that's going on. Particularly, and there was one person who asked, hey dude, Carlos Silva, I believe his name is Carlos Silva. He's the current president of TNA. He's done an Hawaii interview. Are you willing to do it? I may consider doing it in the next couple of days. Not right now, but I may do it maybe the next day or two to see what I think about it. Because there's certain things I got to do in the next couple of days. And hopefully I'll have the time to do it. I'm also going to keep trying to do Gump Goodness. I want to make that very clear to you just right now. That I'm still going to try and do more Gump Goodness. Right now I haven't had anything filmed. But I'm going to see if I can do some more. But at this point, this product has been interesting. Way more than what you normally would see. Let's start. What did we get in the very opening of this show? I'm like Ash and Heather going against Grace and Hudson. I can't remember Grace and Hudson's first names. I won't get it until I see more of them. Now, the match itself is not the key here. It's about letting us see Hudson and Grace and what type of personality these women give. Not just as they work, but as they present themselves. Because the one thing people tend to forget, they want to just see pure match quality. It's about the personality of these people. Men and women alike must give a personality. They can't just go in the ring and just do a hold and a drop kick. It depends on what type of personality they give. Do they yell at the fans? Do they cheer with the fans? Do they act silly? Do they act serious? Do they get stupid? Do they get really sane? Whatever really makes them more palatable to the fans, particularly ones that we had. And I gotta say this. Between the two, as far as I can tell, because I've only seen them wrestle a few times. Who is the better wrestler between the two? Is it Hudson or is it Grace? A little bit more Grace than Hudson. But who is more charismatic? It's Hudson. Taking away from the pink hair. If you look at Hudson and how her attitude is compared to Grace. And I'm not taking anything away from Grace. So far, Hudson is way more charismatic. It's just, that's how it is. And it's not because she's Irish compared to a Brit. I don't give a damn about that. I'm going by pure personality. So far, Hudson seems to have more personality than Grace. And as you see with this match they had that was non-title, they got their butts kicked. I'm not surprised. But now we see them. The question is, how much of the personality is going to be allowed to be shown? What storylines are we going to have with these women? Because, as I said before, to anyone who mentions more people coming into TNA, it's fine, but can creative write for them? That's going to be the big question. You just cannot always get over by matches. It's not always possible. You must have something more. And if you don't have enough more, no one cares. Next, the 6-man tag. And this is, you know what? I'm going to leave this for last. Let me give it to you like this. Let's go with the tag match between the women. Ling Liang Li and Marsha Slamovich versus Fatal Influence. Of course, Nyx is not wrestling and neither was Azaya. They weren't there. They were just at ringside, looking like eye candy. I want to make this very clear to you guys. Seeing that this match went way longer than what you normally would see, like on NXT or regular, well, technically NXT does it better than Raw, SmackDown when it comes to showing the women. It's true. Let's make this very clear. When you look at Raw, and people say Raw is better, I'm talking about not just the match quality, but the length of the match and the people who are in it that are not always the most established. When you look at Raw and SmackDown, they're using constantly the same established wrestlers. They don't really start building up any of the other women. The only thing that you got that barely is anything is the Secret Hervis. And even they're not being used correctly. And they're already established as it is. But they're the closest you can have to something that's fresh. And when you see NXT and TNA for that matter, at least you are getting newer women who are going out there doing 6, 8, 10, near 12-minute matches with some story. And that is something that we've been wanting. It's not the point that you don't want to see the Ash brand and you don't like Ash, you don't like Heather because they're too comedic, they're annoying, and M is just there to look sexy. But that is how the styles are. And I'm saying it clearly. This is actually not bad. It's actually a good thing to see. They are giving the women time. They're setting up Fatal Influence. They're setting up JC James to be dealing with whoever wins Evolution. And I'm not going to give my predictions. I don't do predictions anymore. I used to do predictions a lot years ago, just in case someone asks. I'm not doing predictions. I'm the type of person now that just wants to see what's going to be presented. I don't always want to do a prediction. Not saying I haven't done it. At least maybe 1 or 2 matches, but an entire show, no. I find that's not fun. Maybe once in a while I'll mention what I think will happen in a match, but I don't want to predict the entire show. I don't. I have my thoughts on it, but I don't want to put it on film. I don't have to talk about it because I found it boring after a while. Because yes, it's good to do predictions sometimes, but if I did it every time I saw a show, which I did, it just turned me off. That's why I don't do predictions, just in case you ask. I just don't do them. A single match, I may give my prediction. But an entire card, no. And what did we get? We get, the snow powder. Look, I like Fallon Henley. I actually do. And I'm not too surprised she was one who ate it because JC Jane was not going to eat it because by Slammiversary, we're going to know who's going to become a 2-belt champ. Is it going to be JC James or will it be Marsha or Jordan Grace? We're going to know eventually. We will know again who is going to be the one that's going to be doing this. It's just, we're going to find out. Now, let's move on. I'm going to say this. Should I say this? The 8-man tag, First Class and the Nimitz versus a Reed. When people say he was an original Rascal, no, he wasn't. He was there around the time the Rascals were formed. Let's make it very clear. Trey, Wentz, and Ace. I want to make this very clear because I know people are going to tell me, dude, he was there at the very beginning. He was. But was he the very first Rascal? No. Desmond Xavier, Wentz, and Trey are the original Rascals. Yes, Reed did come in later by a few days. He was not there on the very beginning. He was not there. I'm sorry. I know they're going to keep saying it. And he was close to being one of the original Rascals. But who formed the original Rascals? Desmond, Trey, Wentz. Yes, Reed eventually became a Rascal. It was a little bit after they formed themselves. And they go into the treehouse, and then they introduced them there. That's how they did it. And yes, also out in the ring. But he didn't stay long. And that's something you need to understand. He had been brought in. He became a 4th Rascal. But he didn't stay long. Because where did he go? MLW. Or did you guys forget that? I haven't forgotten it. He did stay for a little while in Impact. But then eventually, after being there for maybe about 4 tapings, a month, he went to MLW and we didn't see him anymore. Not because they didn't keep him on the roster, because they did, of Impact Wrestling. He just never really showed himself because he was working MLW. You can't tell me that didn't happen because it did. So seeing him there and they saying he's an original Rascal, no. He was an added Rascal a little after they were formed. It's just the truth. But seeing he was in the match was not bad because we know that Trey got a hernia and he's got to probably be taken care of. He may even need to have hernia surgery, accounting on how bad the hernia is. But let me give it to you like this. I want to say this. Was it okay to see when the match was over, Joe Henry, along with Santana coming out, Santana getting decked in the face by Joe Henry as they're trying to get trying to get Trick, because he was part of the match. Was Trick part of the match? No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought of Trick. Wasn't he there? Yeah, he was there. He was talking. He interfered in the match. He just wasn't in the match. I'm sorry. But seeing that all of them came out and there was a smudge and then a deck to the face to Santana by Joe, that just was going to eventually happen. It was going to happen. But the question here is this. Do you care? I do. I actually care about seeing what's going on with Santana, particularly San. And I take nothing away from Joe. I still love Joe. He's been a good comedic wrestler, which is now transitioned more serious, which is good. And now they show Santana. And it's good to see they did show a repeat of what happened with his dad with his Vid Pack. Nothing wrong with that either. Seeing that his dad was his inspiration, was his best friend, and unfortunately passed away. And telling you right now, if I had to make a prediction, which it's hard to call because we still got another week. It depends if they're going to add anything more to Santana. It really feels like they're making Santana very important, that even if he doesn't win, he will be a main event guy. They say he's main event. No, he's not. He has to be in this match at Slammiversary. Even if he loses, he will be main event. So that's the best I can say. I don't know if they're going to let Joe win it or him, or they're going to be still trying to keep that Trick Williams title on and then go to, not Slammiversary, and then make him drop it, but Bound for Glory. They may keep that damn title on Trick until Bound for Glory. And that would be understandable because he's made a lot of traction. But that's just me moving on. Now, let's go to, how did I feel? Guys, let me give it to you like this. When you see Indy Hartwell, you can see that she wants to be there. She is enjoying it. But there's someone else that's enjoying being in TNA as well. Tessa Blanchard is loving working with Victoria Crawford. When you saw Victoria Crawford go down into the ring with her by her side, for one moment, you saw Tessa Blanchard break her character, because when Victoria hugged her, that wasn't a joke. You can see legitimately that Tessa is loving working with Victoria. That's not a joke. Whether you still believe that she said all that stuff or not, it makes no difference. Like I said last week, Victoria will not work with someone who's prejudiced or racist. She's not that type of woman. If you saw her in Total Divas, which I did see when she was with Saraya, the former, you know who she is. I ain't going to mention the name because there's no need to mention her name anymore because she's Saraya, unless she goes back to WWE. Well, Silver Lake WWE. But you get my point. She was very clear on dealing with only people that she felt right about. And she likes Tessa. There is no way that friendship isn't real when they go down to the ring. And yes, Tessa's going to play it up as a heel afterward, which she did. Started yelling and screaming, acting like a crazy-ass woman. But when they jumped into that ring together and Tessa got grabbed by Victoria, you could see her smiling happily because she is legitimately loving working with Victoria. And that's good to see because, well, it isn't good to see technically because you want her to stay in character. But as someone who's heard all the rumors about Tessa and seen there's been a lot of controversy with her, seeing that legitimately a veteran, whether you like Alicia Fox or Victoria Crawford at all, she is a veteran of 20 years. 20 years she's been in this business. She's seen it all. Whether she can wrestle or not, doesn't matter. Her working with her happily, that's legitimate. And what did we get? We still have the story between her and Indy. And that's a good thing. This is one of the more compelling stories for not just the knockouts, but for women in general. Because let's be honest here. before Indy got there was not much for Tessa to do except try to prove that she's the best woman, which they did not do. Like I said, Tessa should have been allowed to go through the entire roster, whether they were bad guys or good guys, as knockouts. Made no difference. She said she's the baddest bitch there. She had to prove it, and she never did. But now they have this feud for her, which is the wisest thing for Indy, but also wise enough for Tessa. They need to make this feud, put them both over, and there's no title involved right now, which is good. At least until they decide to do an international championship title for the women, because they may do it. Because Steve Maclin's doing very good in this situation. And of course, Indy managed to win her title, but as you know, after the match was over, and it was a decent match. And I know you're going to say, well, Victoria really wrestled terrible. Look, Victoria is Victoria. The way she wrestles is the old Vince McMahon styles from the mid-2000s. She's going to ham it up. She's going to act over-exaggerating. She legitimately over-exaggerates all her stuff. That's just how she is. She does it more than most. But when you saw Tessa get in the ring, and the way she spoke to her, easily saying, you would never, ever gotten anywhere if it wasn't for me. You are nothing without me. You're nothing because of me now. You will never be better than me. You care. Because in this situation, out of any women I've seen so far with their stories, this is the most compelling right now because at least there's history. And it's history in a way that at least is interesting. I'm not saying it's the best at all carefully crafted story. Nope. It's still being rushed a bit. It is being rushed because they're so close to Slammiversary. It would have been good if it was 2 or 3 months of build, showing how they were fighting one another, interfering with each other's matches, having promo segments, having interviews, all that jazz. And we're going to get an interview probably next week. But you can get what I'm talking about. At least it's more better built than what WWE has built for their women. Remember, Evolution's on Sunday. They barely have any storylines for these women. They're just going to do matches. And that's sad. Moving on. Now, let's do Steve Maclin versus Mace Warner and a little Jake something, which I kind of wish was left for Slammiversary. Because who is Steve Maclin going up against at Slammiversary? As far as I know, nobody. Unless they're going to announce it next week. This should have happened then. But since the International Championship is now taking the place of the X Division title, because that's the truth. Here it is. The World title, X Division title, International title. It's now gone from the X Division was here and the World title. Now the X Division's here as a mid-card title. The International title is the low-card title, which is fine. It's going to be doing all the workhorse stuff that the X Division was doing. But I still kind of wish this was done at Slammiversary because Mace deserved to have that moment. So did Jake something. But it was a good match. There was a lot of, as Booker T would say it, there ain't no water. There ain't no bread. It's just meat. Oh, that hurts your throat. I don't know how he does that. But you get my point. It was a good match. You did enjoy it. But guess who won it? He won it. It's still Steve's title. But who is Steve facing at Slammiversary? Unless he's not, which he should, it's going to be terrible that they could have saved this for Slammiversary and they don't. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it. Now, let's talk about Leon Slater's part with Moose. Since we talked about the International Championship being here and the X Division being here. I know people are going to say that Leon Slater really doesn't talk that well, but actually he does. He talks better than Devon Evans. And understand, this is Devon Evans, and this is Devon Evans, this is Leon Slater. Devon is here because he's worked with heavy amounts of very high-ranked talent. The only reason he's this high is due to the fact he's worked with Randy Orton, he's worked with Ethan Page, he's worked with Uva Femi, he's worked with Trick Williams, he's worked with everybody. But let's be honest here. Without them, he's here. But understand, Leon Slater, when he started, He was here. Guess where Devon Evans was? Here. And the difference between them, where it switched, is because Devon Evans has been on TV way more than Leon Slater. Now it's changed that Leon is on TV now. And that has gone, well, once the anniversary goes, he'll be here. Leon Slater will jump over Devon Evans. Let's be honest. They both have very similar high-flying abilities. That's the truth. I can't tell you which one is better. They both are good high flyers. But who has more character? Who has more charisma? Who can talk better? Leon Slater can talk better. Devon Evans took a long time to get into being able to talk properly. To be able to feel like he's got charisma, because he had no charisma. But Leon Slater does. And I'm not saying it because I love TNA more than NXT. I'm just being fairly objective. If you watch when you hear Leon talking compared to Devon Evans when he first started, when he was really beginning to be seen on TV, Leon Slater, in this short amount of time, in the last couple of months, he's been allowed to be on TV. He talks way better than Devon Evans. That's just the deal. It's the truth. And that's what we got. My battery was flashing at me. I was getting annoyed with it. I'm sorry. But you get my point. His segment with Moose in the back, him talking about getting that title off of Moose at Slammiversary, yes. Did it sound very formulaic? Yeah, it did. But he's only been doing this a few months. His charisma is here. Is his promo segments great? Not 100%, but they are good. Compared to Devon Evans, whose promos, nope, they were not there. His charisma, nope, it was not there. Only thing he could do is go in the ring. But you got Leon, legitimately. He is already full of charisma. His in-ring work is good. The only thing is his promo skills need work. He needs more work. But he's only been on TV for what, 4 or 5 months at least? And he needs more time to develop. And I will tell you, I believe he can do it. So this segment, yes, felt a little familiar. He's going like this to try and emphasize how important this was. About him being the youngest. To think that he will be could be the X Division champion at the age of 20 before he turns 21. It'll be like Brock Lesnar, basically becoming WWE champion. Pretty much the same thing. And I'm interested in seeing if he did win it. But to see him talk like this, he's still learning. So whether you like it or not, you can feel his charisma. And I want to make this clear. I don't hate Devon. I want to make this really clear. I was critiquing Devon for quite a while because he just did not have charisma. He didn't have the mic skills at all. He just had the in-ring work. And in this situation where there were multiple people who were just like him, he needed to set himself aside. Something different. That didn't happen with Randy Orton. That didn't happen with Trick. That didn't happen with Ubafemi. It happened with Ethan Page. And I'm glad that he managed to work with Ethan. That's when he started really beginning to get it. So is he perfect now? Nope. He's got to need more work. But at least he's getting it now. Now, final match. We got Order 4, or as I call them, the Cabinet. A 6-man tag. You got Cedric Alexander. You got Hunt. You got Skyler versus the SS, the Secret Service of Ali, which was sent out wearing suits, wearing shoes, and then he marches to the back. And we get the match, which, let's make it very clear, the match didn't matter, even though it was good to see Cedric in the ring for the first time since he left WWE. I'm sure that felt really good to be going in the ring. He had to wait 90 days for his clause, 90-day clause to end. He couldn't do a damn thing. He couldn't go to no indie shows. He couldn't do nothing. Oh, he can go and watch, but he couldn't wrestle. I know he was so chomping at the bit to get in that ring and just show he can do it, which he did. But here's the thing. When the match was over, we get the Ali coming out with a chair, started whacking at everybody. And the key here is when you see, and this is what makes it very interesting, when you see a Tasha Steelz jump into that ring and do the gonads. Maybe I might have a shot of it. It's in my face. I don't know if her arm is up into his nuts, but it probably was just afterward. You see, for me personally, someone I was waiting for. Someone had to come out. I'm sorry. Let's. I'm trying not to be biased, okay? But once we had this segment afterward where they go into the card before the system came out and said they want to have a match to prove who is the better faction, taking out the system because we know that's coming. When you see Ali with Skylar and Hunch in tow asking Tasha, what the hell was that? And she said, I am sick and tired of this damn mess. And yes, I called Cedric. And yes, I knew that when he came, you're going to get what you wanted. You want the spotlight? Well, since you lost your damn match to Santana, you got no damn spotlight. And you've been acting like a stupid nut. Not like that, but that's what I'm saying. And I called them in to put the damn fire under your ass. And now what you got? You got a marquee match at Slammiversary. Both of you, what? Now we're getting extra zeros behind our numbers. And it's all me. You're welcome. And the moment that happened, I'm thinking, the NYC came out. I was wondering when it was going to happen. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be totally biased, but I'm going to say it in this respect. If you look historically, listen, now I'm doing what people do say when they're trying to justify something, but I do have proof of it. Look at historically, either wrestlers or promoters or anyone else, generally speaking, when you look at where they came from, the majority of the time when they become heavily successful is New York. I'm not trying to blow wind up my own ass, but honestly, that's the truth. I'm not saying anyone from other places in the country can't get over or can't get anywhere. But we're talking about, look, Santana's from NYC. Tasha Steelz from NYC. Hell, Eddie Kingston is NYC. Chris Jericho was born in New York, moved to Canada, and where is he now? Yeah, he's gone off on a cruise and maybe working with Fonzie, his band and everything. But he was born in He was born in New York. It don't make a difference what part of New York you're from. You're born in New York. You could become successful. Now, you look at me and it's saying, aren't you supposed to be successful if you're in New York? No. Not every New Yorker can become successful, but we can be recognizing what happens. As I've always told people, I'm a realist, and I can see what's going on. And the realist G is the last thing I'm going to talk about. He's in my face. Fourth rope. Enzo Amore shows up with a damn title that looks like a Ted DiBiase knockoff, which looks good. Oh, my back. Why did I do that? My back is still messed up. I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud. Really? He's still doing the stick, which is good for him. And he does admit he ain't 7 foot tall, but he still looks good. And when you look at Devon Evans, Leon Slater, you know what Enzo Amore is? Boy, he is loaded with charisma. And what he said, playing around with the possibility that either he's going to go to TNA, or he'll show up at Forbidden Door, or he'll show up anywhere else that he wants to, because it looks like he's not with MLW anymore. Because if I remember correctly, he was with MLW, and he was working with them for a while, because he wasn't working with NWA. I think it's MLW he was working with. So it looks like he's not with them now. And he's now toying with the possibility of him joining TNA, or just to screw around with AEW and screw with them. Possibility. And understand, let's make it clear, there's a possibility that he could be legitimately in the arena at All In, and he's not invited, he just got a ticket, and he may just try to make himself marketable by screwing with the AEW fans as well as AEW wrestlers and try to get some publicity for himself. That's a possibility. I see that happening with Enzo. Well, the former Enzo. He's basically fourth rope. Did I feel interested in seeing if he joins TNA? Hell, fucking yeah, I would be interested in seeing him in there. And he does say it very clearly. I do have a hookup there, and it is a tall hookup, but it's a hookup. Of course, it's Big Bill. But the question's going to be, legitimately, would he legitimately work with TNA? I hope he does. Now, here's the thing. As I've said numerous times, that has not been proven discredited. Can creative use him? That's going to be the thing. If he does work for TNA, they must write for him like everybody else. They can't just let him sit in the back. They got to use his ass. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoy this TNA Wrestling review. Please give me a comment below. You will be seeing my next Gump Goodness. I do have maybe 1 or 2 left recorded, and possibly tomorrow or the next day I'll try and make another Gump Goodness. And hopefully you'll get it before I'll be doing All In. I'm not going to watch Saturday night's main event. I will see the Great American Bash the next day. And I probably will see, maybe I will see Evolution on Sunday, because it'll be the only one other than something I'll watch early in the morning. But clearly, and I know that All In is going to be in the morning, like in the afternoon, before the Saturday night's main event, during the same time as Great American Bash. But I will be doing All In only on Saturday. I will not watch other shows and do reviews of it. I want to see it for the next day. But this is just me. Peace.